A stroll through the national accounts at year's end reveals a country steadily putting its finances back into shape after a decade of global upheaval and the stimulatory spending used to tame it. And it shows an unpopular coalition government unaccustomed to luck suddenly standing knee-deep in the stuff. Australia's been lucky through 26 years of unbroken growth, during which came the Asian financial crisis, the dot-com bubble, the mining boom with its trailing investment drought, and the global financial crisis. Through it all, Australia kept growing. Before 2007, the coalition committed to spending the proceeds of the boom as if they were permanent, and in opposition, caused the subsequent Labor government extreme political stress in handling the GFC. Now in office, Malcolm Turnbull, who'd argued feverishly against most of Kevin Rudd's emergency spending, is riding its success, while his ministers complain about rigid partisanship frustrating their economic efforts. The next best thing to a surplus is a credible path towards one, and 1 week out from Christmas, Treasurer Scott Morrison has some good news here. These include the underlying cash balance improvement of $9.3 billion over the next 4 years, with the deficit this year also smaller at $23.6 billion, which is $5.8 billion better than projected in the May budget. Luck and timing play as big a role in politics as they do in business. After a torrid year, governed by Murphy's Law domestically, Morrison says better days are revealing themselves globally and Australia remains well placed to take advantage. Clearly business is booming, which is fueling jobs growth and boosting company profits. That means billions in extra company tax receipts for Canberra and savings in cash for unemployment, student and disability payments. This is all good news for a government that increasingly feels it has turned a corner, but it's how it plays out on the ground that matters. Fiscally, the government can claim credit for the savings underpinning its surplus trajectory. But cuts cause political pain, and there are yet more buried in this statement. These include extended waiting times for migrants needing welfare assistance, freezes on university funding, and cuts to after-hours doctors. The other big negative is the decline in average wage growth to just 2.25% and the resultant write-downs in income tax receipts, and on consumer demand. Here the government has no answers beyond its blocked business tax cuts. Personal tax cuts will help and seem certain to be announced next May. Inevitably, their quantum will disappoint. Unhappy consumers are also unhappy constituents, which might explain why thousands who voted Liberal in Belog in 2016, switched to Labor in 2017. Getting them back in 2018 will take something more tangible than a projected surplus 3 years down the track.